Check it. During the past 2 weeks, we traveled from Cairo to Tunis, and now we're on our way to Casablanca, Morocco's commercial capital. Welcome back to the Big World goes Akibulan, aka Africa.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a country with everything.
Palm trees, beaches, sea, and even a desert.
And even more.
Sounds like paradise to me.
That's exactly how you spell Morocco.
The Big World has arrived in Casablanca.
Yo, peep, this part of the world has been inhabited since prehistoric times. At least this is what the guidebook will tell you. Imagine people lived here more than 30 centuries ago. Now the Romans lived here, then came the Berbers, and then the Arabs. Casablanca is by all definition a North African capital. Part Mediterranean, part African.
It's a massive city. Unofficially, there are 5 million people who live here, which means that after Cairo, this is the second largest city in Africa. Isaac and myself spent 5 days here soaking in the Mediterranean lifestyle. But that does not just mean a life of fun and games. Casablanca, despite its size, is still a city which closes down after 10 at night. It's a city cloaked in history, culture, and a great devotion to religion.
Hey, it's hard to put your finger on what one would call the heart of the Moroccan people. You know what I'm saying? Like, who are these people really? Are they Arabs or are they African? Yo, that's the very first question I asked to the very first Moroccan I got to meet. Her name is Nabila, and even better than in the famous movie Casablanca. We strolled across this majestic square in front of the city's largest mosque.
Morocco is a variety, and it's a mixture of everything. I mean, at all levels, you'll find people in between two cultures. So you try to pick what you like of one culture and the other, and you have different concentrations. So you have different characters, different people. Some would be more westernized than others. Others would prefer to remain more, to stick to Islam and to Arab culture. And I mean, that's all.
The landscape around Casablanca is relatively flat and desert-like, and much of the country's architecture is obviously based on this arid landscape.
Do you consider yourself Moroccan, African, or are you global, worldwide?
Well, this is not the first time I've been asked these questions. One of my instructors once asked me, do you feel an African, Arab, Muslim? I think I told him, my answer was, I'm simply Moroccan, meaning I'm an Arab, I'm a Muslim, I'm an African, I'm Mediterranean as well.
Hey, that's enough. That's a mouthful. And as sun sets, so do we. Bye-bye.
Yo, this is how the Lucified play in Casablanca. They're modern, trendy, wear the latest fashion and listen to the latest music. Okay, it's only a select group of people that live like that in that type of luxury and style, because everybody cannot afford that or even talk about it. But yo, Cobus met this nice girl who invited him to her house. Well, that was just to show him her makeup kit. Just peep how these people lounge up in here. Yeah, so you thought this was gonna be one of those whack programs where they only show you art and culture and stuff like that. Yo, I'm telling you, the Moroccans themselves would hardly even stand for that, because they are, in every sense of the word, modern and progressive. Cobus met up with this nice girl who showed him the other half that live in Morocco. They're rich and famous, baby, and boy do they lounge in style up in here. Yasmin, by the way, yep, you guessed it, she's a fashion model, and yo, he who has Lucci up in here can afford to live in great style and luxury. Don't think for a moment that every Moroccan you encounter out here lives in a traditional village. Nah, none of that.
She was walking
Bonjour. How are you?
down the street.
Very well. Ça va. Wow.
The first time
Yours?
I saw my baby.
Very, very nice.
She was walking on down the street.
Are there many girls in Morocco who want to be models?
Yeah.
Are there?
Yes. But like I explained to you, there is no model agencies
So it's
representing.
difficult.
Yeah, so it's very difficult.
And do you think you can make a living out of modeling? Do you earn enough money to live on it?
No, not really. It's not like developed country. We earn. Comment on peut dire? Stop.
Okay, there she goes. English not so hot. But yo, Yasmin really wanted to tell us something about her life.
We find minty, saga, and water.
It's a typically Moroccan drink.
Yeah.
Well, salute.
Cheers. There is no model agencies in Morocco. In fact, there is no legal room for this kind of activity. And therefore, we act as freelance. Concerning the problem, there is lack of professionalism in this industry, okay? On both sides, where you have real professionals, they are not well paid.
Peep, let me try to summarize what Yasmin was saying. Now, despite the fact that they modern and developed and all that, there's still things that people frown upon that we might take for granted. Say, for example, if you're a model, some people may just look at you like a cheap prostitute or something. Well, I guess that has something to do with religion. But still, imagine how frustrating that must be for all the individuals that want to, pursue that type of career. But I suppose things are changing, and they have, their fashion shows, and even the females are allowed to wear skimpy underwear and swimsuits up in there. So it's improving.
Well, it's more than just improving. The fashion industry in Morocco is well established and very modern. The designs, well, by and large, the kind of fashion gear women like to wear here is still based on the traditional. A fact which I rather fancy. I mean, why forever copy the latest that comes from the Western world? They wear bright colors and loads of chunky traditional jewelry, and I wouldn't want them to change this at all for a pair of jeans.
La création en Bugrido, elle est traditionnelle et moderne en même temps.
Hey, fashion in Morocco, says Abdul Gridou, is really a mixture of the traditional and the modern. At a fashion show here, we saw exactly what he meant by that statement. Yo, by the way, fashion shows here were really kind of frowned upon until only very recently. It was just not the thing for a woman to display her beauty. But yo, we all know that times have changed, and a fashion show in Casablanca looks no different from what you can see in your own country. Okay, except for the dresses.
One thing's for sure, it's easy to meet people in this country. Sure, Isaac wasn't too pleased that I got to meet Jasmine and that she showed me her apartment, but one day later he met two girls and they showed him around their TV station.
Morocco has both state and private television, but we opted to visit this private channel called Deuxième, where I met two of their teen presenters. And voila, no more traditional dresses and old style type architecture. We suddenly found ourselves in a very modern and well-developed part of the city with some pretty cool-looking females telling us more about their youth culture.
I'm Sausan. I present a program of music which is Music Box. Salut à tous. I'm Kali Selma. I'm 25 years old and I present the same program.
Yo, TDW, trust me when I say Music Box rocks. You know what I mean? Tell me about the success of your program.
The success is in the comment dire, la nouveauté.
Nouveauté.
Yes, the new clips, the new video clips.
Ah, okay.
like Michael Jackson's, like Mariah Carey, like Emanate, like a lot of musicians. We pass music, new music, but we have to remember all the spectators for.
The classics?
Yeah, the classics.
Yes.
Not classics.
For
it's
example, Hotel California in.
And we have also you see Coolio, the interview of Coolio in when you come to Morocco. So we have some interview, and we give all things that they want to see.
Moroccan people, I think in all the world we find that young people are influenced by music.
Okay.
So we can find now some young people dressed like you, dressed like you, dressed like you. It's with a big jean and big shoes. So they see this in the music, in the video clip, you know. So it's an influence of music on the dress.
Tell me, do you play any South African music? No.
Johnny Clegg. Johnny Clegg. But
Johnny Clegg represents. Okay, let's walk up. Now, how long has your program been going on? How long has Music Box been on air?
I didn't understand you.
From 10 months?
10 months.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the audience, do you get a lot of old people watching the program, or do you only get the young people?
Young people. The majority is young people. Is 14 to 25, and there is their parents. Because when they see the program, so the parents are with them in the.
Mom, you have to watch this song.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you guys, since you are representing a lot of young people in the whole of this country, you have to say a very important message to South Africans. I'm not going to help you out. There you go.
I wish one of these days I wish visit South Africa, as I don't know this country. They said that it's a great country, beautiful country. So one of these days.
I think that it's a very beautiful country, and I know by another channel, the Sun City.
Sun City?
Yeah. Because there is a very good, very famous snooker snooker competition. So I see this and I want to see Sun City.
Hey, that's as profound as you can get. Music Box representatives, Big World in the house. That's how we be out. Check the situation. We're in a habitat where the sky remains blue, the sea remains blue, and the people are deep-rooted, cultured, but also civilized. Welcome to the capital of Morocco. Rabat kicks butt, right?
Rabat is the capital city of Morocco. Much smaller city, but no less attractive, and filled with some of Africa's architectural gems. Now, the town of Rabat was founded in the 10th century. Today, it's about, home to 500,000 citizens, and somewhat provincial if compared to Casablanca, but nevertheless, modern and progressive. Rabat is also Morocco's seat of government. It's what you call a respectable city. A little bit like Pretoria. The city is also very heavily policed, and it's here where we lost our producer because he got arrested for accidentally photographing a police station. So watch out when you're around this town. Don't just go photographing every nice building you may see. And this here in the picture is the famous Tor Hassan, a mosque built in the 10th century but never completed. The design was monumental. Its prayer hall alone had space for about 40,000 worshippers. And just outside the city, you find the ruins of Chella. You find many of these old ruins across the entire country. Rabat is also home to our own embassy. So I figured,
you know, it wouldn't be a bad idea to make some inquiries about our official political relationship with this country.
Yes, the more important is President Mandela, who has been here at least 2 or 3 times. Deputy President Mbeki has been here. The relationship between President Mandela and King Hassan is very good. They're on a very good personal relations basis that dates way back from the days of the years of the struggle in the 60s. Morocco has been a staunch supporter of President Mandela during the years of the struggle. Although President Mandela has only been here on short visits, he has been invited on occasion to come here on a full state visit. We're also waiting for the king, hopefully in the near future, to also visit South Africa.
So from that you can deduct that Morocco is a monarchy, meaning that they have a king to rule them. Also, in Rabat I popped into one of their international schools to ask some young people about this country. The American school in Rabat clearly counts amongst one of the best schools in the city, with mostly foreigners who study here. On my arrival, some students were gathered under some tree where they were dissecting the work of Nadine Gordimer, and this is how they feel about the country.
My family's Moroccan. I'm 100% Moroccan, but I don't really listen to Moroccan music. Don't dress like all the other Moroccans. I'm really different. I'm more into the American type.
I mostly like the people and the way you can interact with them and the way they behave with you. I mean, they're really, really kind with you.
I don't know, they have a lot of pride in Morocco as a North African country.
You know, affection, and you have to be very careful not to show too much affection to any of your friends outside of your house or your area. So that's probably what I hate most.
Most Moroccans consider themselves as Moroccans, although many of them think that they're African too.
The young kids who think, you know, they think American, they want to dress like American people do, or like the Western culture wants them dressed.
I guess I love the landscape. Morocco itself is a really beautiful landscape. You have all these different landscapes like mountains, you have rivers, you have the sea, you have everything all together. The weather is beautiful. I don't think you could get that anywhere else. But yeah, that's what I like about Morocco.
I'd say it's better to visit. It's much better to visit because living in tends to get boring sometimes because there isn't every recreation place like the United States. It's not the same thing. I think it's better to visit Morocco than living in.
Hey, I'll check it. That always seems to be the case though. The grass always seems to be greener on the other side. But then again, we're only visitors out here. So now, how would an ordinary Moroccan live? Okay, now, what would an ordinary Moroccan definition be? Okay, but we met a school teacher where we spoke to those guys, and she said, "Alright, it's cool, we can film in our house," and so I suppose we have the permission to show you guys in her house. Yeah, I got it right. I got it right!
A walk through the old part of Rabat, called the Medina, is really a walk through history. The streets are narrow and the houses, seen from the outside, are built on top of one another. But enter through these old arches and doorways and you step into an exotic world. Most houses are in need of repairs, but somehow this slightly worn appearance adds to the charm and character of these homes. You can easily get lost here. There are a maze of alleyways, little corners, balconies. The Moroccans still live here the way they used to thousands of years ago. At least in terms of the style and character of their architecture, it is as if time stood still here. Behind these whitewashed walls, you do not only come across some pretty exotic homes, but you may also find a restaurant tucked away here, or a shop of some sort. But it is impossible to find your way around here. And in restaurants and other eating places, you're almost always surrounded by traditional musicians. It's not that they scoff at popular contemporary music, they're just very good at keeping their culture alive. But you know, I think one thing's for sure about these people, and that's their love for their tradition.
Yeah, man, young people may be different out here, but I think the average Moroccan still looks, dresses, and behaves, oh no, not behaves, lives like their forefathers did back in the day, till like 100 years ago. I don't even know whether that has anything to do with development or lack thereof. But on the contrary, I think you could be thoroughly modern and still become a traditionalist. Why not?
Which is exactly what we found here in this great African capital. Hey, we're back in Casablanca, a city which is larger than Johannesburg, but has many of the same features. It's rich and poor simultaneously. Some of its people are highly developed, many are poor, uneducated, and yeah, they struggle too. Yo, I asked Nabila whether Moroccan women, and women like herself, regard themselves as emancipated and equal to their male partners.
So you feel that you're equal,
No, equal, no. We are not equal to men. Where we live, no. I mean, as far as professional life is concerned, we are equal.
Ah, okay.
We are seen as individuals.
Aye.
When it comes to private life, we are not. I mean, we are judged according to our belonging to a certain group. We are the daughter of X and the wife of Y.
Ah,
you know.
Ah, okay.
So we are not equal. Men are trying hard to make us feel that we are equal, but they don't. I think they don't succeed in making. Stop.
I'm trying to note down all the things that I've seen here in my diary, and of course I'm struck by the physical beauty of this country, but I'm also impressed with other qualities too here, like the Moroccans' devotion to their religion, their love for their own country and culture, the confusion of many different cultures and levels of development that seem to live in harmony next to one another. Moroccan women, who I do not think are as emancipated as modern South African women, and yet they're part of the development of this country. And religion, seen from the outside, it seems to play a dominant part in the lives of these people. They themselves seem to be torn between an allegiance for Africa and a natural alignment with the Mediterranean world. They do not look up to South Africa as their big brother, as so many other African countries do, because they are proud of their sophistication and they do see themselves as an economic might in North Africa. But they are by no means a closed society. On the contrary, they invite you into their lives with great ease. Isaac struck it lucky with some of the most beautiful girls I've seen in a long time, and believe me, there was nothing old-fashioned or traditional about them. In fact, you might as well be talking to a young woman in Paris for that matter. French, incidentally, is an official language here, and most Moroccans battle to express themselves in English. But Miriam, Isaac's Moroccan friend, managed pretty well though. And these guys, by the way, are Morocco's watermen, water sellers, one of those many thousands of traditions that are still kept alive here.
Are you gonna come to South Africa?
Yes, why not?
And can I give you my phone number?
Yes.
Okay.
No, no. Before I want the 2 CD.
You want my 2 CDs?
Yes, the 2 CD, and after I can come in.
Miriam keeps on calling me E.T. and expects me to give her my CDs.
No. Your name is Isaac, and I like you, and your equipe.
Okay.
Okay.
You heard that. You heard that. Somebody grab me. I'm gonna faint.
Okay. C'est bon.
Believe me when I say that was some fly female. But she didn't get none of my CDs. Don't play that. Yo, Morocco is
beautiful,
fantabulistically multicrudinous.
Yes.
We out, yo. So it'll be next week, next destination, same time. You know how we
Different place, yeah. And that place will probably give us our first real taste of Africa. We're off to the Ivory Coast.
Côte d'Ivoire, where everybody speaks French, and I think we're gonna have a bit of a problem with communication. Parlez-vous français?
No.
No?
No, je ne parle pas français, no. Parlez-vous français?
We out!
Au revoir!
And that's it for this week. Join us next week again in the big world when Cobus continues to explore the sights and sounds of Morocco. While he visits Marrakesh, Isaac moves on to Abidjan, the capital of the Ivory Coast.